Happy Thursday, guys. How are you guys doing? This is Ree you're talking to, and this is where I come to talk to you about what I have either read in the blogs, watched on TV, or heard in these streets. Today it is about what I have watched on TV. We are doing Married at First Sight, and I know that this is my first Married at First Sight season 15 video, but it's going to be really short because it really hasn't had much happening. They are wrapping up their honeymoon, and you guys all know we don't really care about what takes place at the wedding. So let's just get to it. It's going to be a relatively short video. But if you like what you hear, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I definitely want to hear from you, and I definitely want you guys to come back for more. Okay, let's get some of these couples out of the way. Let's get Kristen and Mitch out of the way. Let's get them out of the way first. So far, we've learned this season that Mitch is not physically attracted to Kristen. He seemed to have been more attracted to her mom than he is to her. Very weird. Kristen is a beautiful woman. And Mitch, I mean, it was very bold to even say that with a whole Band-Aid that was on your head. But I digress. I don't know whether he's looked in the mirror to know as far as like, dude, like you if anything, she's out of your league if we're basing off of physical and nothing more. But once again, I digress. But now I guess like he loves the sternness of Kristen. And he loves that sternness of her to the point to where he tried his luck thinking that he was going to get him some booty, okay? He thought that he was going to go in the room with her and then literally try to get him some. And Kristen was like, like, this is not some ugly duckling stage where, you know, you think that you can just come and lay on top of me after you've already told me that you're not even attracted to me. Like, this reminds me of Chris and Paige so much, where Kristen Page from a previous season, where Paige continued to have sex with Chris, even knowing that he was not physically attracted to her, as if you were going to change his mind, when if anything, you're only going to hurt your esteem a whole lot more. So I'm so glad that Kristen put her foot down and was just like, no, that's not happening. And now realizing, taking her power back and realizing that, yeah, we're not doing that. And I'm in control of how this boat moves and how this ship turns. So kudos to Kristen for that. I am loving her so far. I am loving that the matureness of her. I am loving the stability, the emotional stability of her, where she is just handling things with a clear head and just not getting bulldozed. So I love that. We move on. Okay, let's get Morgan and Ben out the way. So Ben is ridiculous. He really is ridiculous. So this episode, we find out that Morgan is still working on her bachelor's degree. Here's the problem that I have with people. When you don't understand something, ask more questions and learn about something. Healthcare is clearly not Ben's background, right? We get that. Like, I am a healthcare person, so I understand what Morgan was saying 100% completely. For Ben to go back to the group and make it seem as if she lied to him, as if she's not, in a state of dependency or independency, it's just really, it's really shows just how ignorant he is to the whole ordeal. And also it shows the immaturity within the relationship. But I digress. Long story short, Morgan says that she has one class away from working on her bachelor's. He's making it seem as if she's not even a nurse. She is a nurse. Here's the thing, Ben, and I'm going to explain this for everyone because I even saw this online, and I know this because I am a healthcare professional, okay? She is an RN, a registered nurse. A RN is where you only need an associate's degree to be a nurse, okay? She is still getting a good salary with an RN. You still are in a position to work in a lot of places that those with the bachelor's have. Like, you still getting good money from it, okay? So that's one thing. She is getting her BSN now. BSN is a bachelor's in nursing. And as she said, that it is only as a career advancement. I am guessing that she wants to go into a particular part of nursing, maybe one department that requires BSN instead of RN. But let's not get it twisted. An RN is still a nurse. There are a lot of people that don't even go for the BSN because they're making close to the same money that someone with a BSN is making. So therefore, she is not lying. All it took was for you to ask that question and to get more understanding of it, since clearly healthcare is not your background. And had you have gotten that, you would have been like, oh, okay, I see, no big deal. That's it. So to go to her, to other people as if she's lying, as if she's making things up, and it shows the ignorance, and not just you, but also in Justin, which I'm going to get to him next, is absolutely ridiculous. You are completely out of line for that. Do I think that they can work? I don't. And the reason why I don't is because they are two very opposite people. She is, like, I feel like for him, he requires someone that has like a lot more femininity to him. Like, he's not a confrontational. He's not, you talking about a girl who literally can kick his butt, you know, sitting down with her legs crossed. You know what I mean? I just don't know if it's going to work. Like, I feel like he has less faith in her based on her background and the fact that she, like majority of people in this country, it's still, you know, we got debt. We have student loan debt and those types of things. And he's like, I want someone a little bit further along. What? I don't know. But yeah, he pissed me off this episode, and that's the background there. Let's get to Justin and Alexis. Justin, side note, Justin, I am 100% convinced has Klinefelter syndrome. And if you look up Klinefelter, you would see that he has the physical and mental characteristic of it, from the stature to the low muscle mass to the missing facial hair to even the mental, where we're speaking about just high level of sensitivity, emotional immaturity. Yeah, Justin to the T. Please look up Klinefelter syndrome, and you guys will see exactly like, but here's the thing with Klinefelter is that one of the negatives about it, and Klinefelter basically in a nutshell is where a person is born with an extra X chromosome. So Justin will have two X's and a Y, and not just an X and a Y, you know, running through his body. And so that's where that is. And, you know, you can look further into that. But the negative about that is fertility, because most people with Klinefelter have a very low, practically non-existent sperm count, right? So as far as bearing biological children, it's borderline impossible. So, which I think would be a big factor that he needs to mention to Alexis, but if he knows. But a lot of people also don't know. That's something that you find out through blood work. So who knows if by the time they start looking to conceive and then they run tests and things, that's probably where he'll find out then, if he doesn't already know. I want to get that out the way. But based on that emotional immaturity, let's go over to him crying because of Ben and Morgan's relationship. Justin, you just met this man. You just met him. This is not your best friend. And even Ben is not crying. Why are you crying over their relationship? And you don't know either parties. Like, it's so, like, every episode this man cries. And it's different if you're crying with reason. But when you are just blatantly just crying for some of the most ridiculous things, like, I can't. Because for me, I'm looking at it like, what are you crying about now? And no, I am not one of these people that feel that a man can't cry. Of course, a man is allowed to express himself. But even if he was a woman and you're crying over two people you just met, relationship that you do not know, I would look at you crazy as well. That is weird. But he's been crying since episode 1. And if we take a shot for every time this man gets emotional during an episode, we would all be drunk. Okay? So he seriously annoyed me this episode. But on a positive note, Alexis says that she loves him as well. So, kudos to them. Do I think that this relationship, will they say yes on decision day? Yes. Do I see this being something long term? Only if Alexis decides to stay. Like, it would be solely based on Alexis. The more he talks, it's ridiculous. But also, the more he talks, it helps me realize that celibacy, I don't think that it was a choice for him. I think it was by force, but he's trying to make it seem like it was a choice for him. But that's just my 2 cents regarding them. Okay, we move on. We get, let's get Miguel, out the way. Miguel and Lindy out the way. They make a really cute couple physically if you look at them. But Miguel is clearly not all the way in this. I think that Miguel is taking this as a, like just as an experiment, let's just see how this goes. And that is not what you want to take something as when you have come into this, like, I want to be married. I feel like the later seasons, as these seasons go on, a lot of the people are coming on as if this is just an experiment for them. And that is going to eventually break Lindy's heart because she is clearly all the way in. I do agree in regards to Sassy, where it's like, yeah, like, let's make sure you had that sex because you wanted to and not because, you didn't or whatnot. Because just the other day, you was talking about waiting. It seems as if, you are going above and beyond to please him, to show him that you are worthy. So I'm so glad that Miguel did say, no, be yourself. And if I take to what you're giving, that's what matters. But be yourself. I'm glad that he's not on some change who you are in order to please me. I'm glad that he definitely 100% spoke that to him. But here's another thing regarding Sassy. Let's move over to Sassy and Sassy and Nate. Nate is okay being a sugar baby. No, I'm kidding. They're getting along great, right? Now, a lot of the guys feel like Nate is not all the way in this, that this is also an experiment for him. And this honestly could be the case for him and also for Miguel. But here's the thing, Sassy. Even though I feel what you're saying, where you're like that, you started crying up as you were speaking with Lindy about giving herself in order to please the partner, even when you didn't want to. I get that. Like, I've been there. A lot of women have been there. It is an ugly feeling. It is a hurtful feeling. But we got to also make sure that when you are relaying a message, it doesn't come off like you are projecting what is taking place in your life or projecting your feelings onto someone else's, right? Because then that can make a person combative, right? So, it was a lot of projecting in that moment. A simple question of, hey girl, like, you did this on your own, right? Like, you wasn't pressured into this. And she goes, yeah, girl, no, I wanted to do this. It was a beautiful moment. Okay, great. That should have been the end of it. But as far as, the heavy tears about, making this about what took place with you, it should not have been projected onto her. That's what I take it as. I'm sure it's what many other people took it as. And so I can understand Lindy being on the defense and now reversing it back and being like, hey, girl, while we're talking about me, the guys are saying that your guy, Nate, is not 100% in on this either. So there's that, I also don't like that, Sassy, you felt like you were going to give Lindy's guy, Miguel, the third degree. Give your own husband the third degree, right? Like, you guys are all getting to know each other. Don't put him on the spot on some, oh, what are you here for, this and that. And your guy is the one that the guys, like, unanimously, you know what I mean? Like on a huge, I think I said that word wrong, but largely believes that your guy is the one that is not here for the right reasons. So focus that energy that way. Thank goodness the mariachi band came. Like, yeah, the messy side of me is like, no, they should have held off. But then the other side where it's like, hey, that was unnecessary. It's like, I'm glad that they came to interrupt that moment at the dinner of you now trying to interrogate this man. So let me know you guys' thoughts. Like, let me know if you think that Ben was out of line for going back to the group regarding Morgan and her nursing career situation. Let me know if you think that Justin is just too much with these emotions. And I can see Alexis eventually getting sick of it. That's why I don't think that this will be long-term for the both of them. But we'll see. Just let me know your thoughts on people. And I can't wait to hear from you guys soon. Leave a comment below. Make sure you subscribe and come back for more. I promise you, I'm going to do these episodes every time. I look crazy, so I decided not to get on camera. But love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.